Let's turn back now to Marc Ambinder, our chief political correspondent. Marc, what's going on here? The president, first of all, seems to have backed off in his support for the labor movement after coming out strongly the first couple of days. Now it's radio silence.
There was a little bit of, you could call it a miscue here, but I think it goes to the heart of what in the end might even doom Governor Walker, which is that he was elected to create jobs to get the state out of budget debt. He wasn't elected to take on union power in the states, just as President Obama is in some ways loath to intervene in a hot button political issue that that involves the state. He really needs to win for 2012. But I want to go back to something that the minority leader just said. This is about Democrats versus Republicans. It is absolutely true that Democrats, by and large, their bread and butter support comes from the labor movement, and the unions have been bargaining with Republican governors and Republican state officials for years. And Republican state officials know that unions are going to support Democrats to run against them. So the level of frustration is there, and the frustration is not unjustified.
And there seems to be some outside help. I mean, we read that the Koch brothers,
right,
the billionaire conservatives, have helped to finance some of the action against this.
One thing you've seen is just a convergence on the state of all these outside interests, whether it's the national union movements, right, to conservative groups like Americans for Prosperity, which is funded by the Koch brothers. This is, in many ways, almost an epochal battle, because if trade unionism goes down in Wisconsin, you're going to see some of the governors who haven't been willing to take this on, perhaps not Indiana, but Iowa being another one, are going to suddenly feel a lot more confident about doing so. And the heart of Democratic political power in the Midwest could be at stake, and that's one reason why the unions are fighting tooth and nail against this.
And there seem to be some other things embedded in the bill which haven't been that much talked about, which would allow the governor to make changes in existing law without action of the legislature.
One of the interesting ironies of this particular fight is that, again, while you can understand perhaps why Governor Walker would want to do this, why he would want to reduce the power of unions, why in the long term he would want to create a sustainable way for public sector employees to have their pensions handled and their wages and benefits calculated, they seem to be fairly inept at coming up with a coherent plan to do this that didn't include all sorts of tricks and gimmickry like you saw this morning, or hidden parts of legislation that, based on Wisconsin law, which is quite progressive in how it's interpreted, probably won't stand the muster, probably won't pass muster with the courts. So Walker might have bitten off more than he can chew. I think the key is going to be Senate Republicans who are in their districts getting hammered by labor for potentially not just removing the power, but going against not just the teachers' unions. They usually get angry at teachers' unions, but firefighters and police officers and EMTs who have joined the fight now against Walker.
Who have now,
right, who supported him in his election and joined the fight. So these Senate Republicans mostly, they're getting hammered. And if Walker steps back, it's going to be because Senate Republicans say you have to step back a little bit.
But going back to your original point, it really is a battle between the Democrats and the way they govern and Republicans and the way they govern.
Absolutely.